Hey, what is up, guys, and welcome back to Football Discussions. I know I have been gone for quite some time, but I wanted to get right back into the action with doing a 2020 NFL mock draft around the quarter season mark of the NFL season and around the mid-season mark of the college season. Uh, the order of the draft is loosely based on what the order is now and what I think will happen a little down the road. So it's kind of a mix, so don't focus too much on the order. But yeah, so let's get right into it. Starting with the number one overall pick, had that going to none other than the Miami Dolphins, who I do believe will go 0-16 this year, and I have them taking Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback out of Alabama. A lot of people think that they might stick with Rosen this year. However, I find that hard to believe. Has had his struggles up to this point, whether it was on the Cardinals or on the Dolphins, and I just truly believe that they will go in the Tua direction. He's just far too good of a talent and such a good quarterback to pass up on when you're trying to build a new franchise from the ground. I really think he'll be the guy in Miami for a while and years to come. So that's why I have the Dolphins picking Tua. With the second overall pick, I have the Redskins taking wide receiver Jerry Jeudy out of Alabama. When Saquon came out of Penn State, a lot of people called him this generational talent, and that he was the best player we've seen in a while, which is obviously all true. He's already the number one running back in the league, arguably. And I think it's kind of I'm not saying Jerry Jeudy is the same as Saquon, but it's a similar case where you have this generational wide receiver talent, one of the cleanest route runners we've seen coming out of the draft, and one of the just overall best wide receivers we've seen in a while. So it does make sense to me that the Redskins will take him at 2 here rather than a guy like Chase Young or Grant Delpit or whoever you seem fit for the Redskins. So I do think they will take Jerry Jeudy, kind of build up their wide receiver core. Terry McLaurin has been playing really well, but he's not going to be enough. I don't think Paul Richardson is the answer or Josh Doxson. So I do believe that the Redskins will take Jerry Jeudy with the second overall pick. With the third overall pick, I have the Cincinnati Bengals going in the quarterback direction. That is right. They're getting rid of the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton, over there in Cincinnati. They're going to move along. It's about time. They need a new quarterback. And I think this is the better quarterback out of Tua and Justin. I think Herbert's the better one. I think Tagovailoa is just a little more hyped up, and that's why the Dolphins will take him. But I do think Herbert's going to be the guy that's going to be around the league forever, can have a great NFL career. Just such a pure passer, great downfield, great accuracy, and overall he's just a great player. So I think the Bengals will go in the route of Justin Herbert and move on from Andy Dalton era in Cincinnati. The fourth overall pick, I have the Jets getting one of the best edge rushers we've seen in a very long time, Chase Young from Ohio State. Just a really good football player they have there. There's talks of the Jets shopping Leonard Williams around the trade deadline, and even if they don't shop him, this is still a guy that can impact their team greatly. Obviously, they have Quinnen on the inside, but the Jets really don't have a really good pass rusher that's going to get them 10 to 15 sacks a year. And I think Chase Young could be that guy. I think he's an overall fantastic football player, probably the best football player in this draft class. And so I do think that the Jets will go with Chase Young. It's just going to be too hard for them to pass up here. With the fifth overall pick, the Dolphins are going to be picking again, and this time in place of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And they traded away first-round pick that is not the right person. Minkah Fitzpatrick is to the Steelers for this first-round pick, and I think they're going to replace him right away with Grant Delpit, one of the best safeties in a very long time coming out of college. I do think he's better than Minkah, and I do think he'll make more of an impact on the field. This is a guy that in his sophomore year had 75 plus tackles, 7 plus sacks, 7 interceptions. I mean, like 15 tackles for losses. Just an overall insane player, really good player, probably the best player on LSU. He is wearing that number 7 jersey, which indicates that the coaches think he's the best player. So I think that the Dolphins will replace Minkah, go with Grant Delpit, and start building their defense. They already have guys in place, whether it's Jerome Baker or Raekwon McMillan, Christian Wilkins. All of these guys are going to be young studs on this defense, and I think Grant Delpit's going to be the next piece over in Miami. With the sixth pick, I have the Denver Broncos drafting a very good offensive tackle out of Georgia. Andrew Thomas, really good technique on this kid. A ton of pancakes. He's very talented, and I think he's going to do the job in Denver. They did draft Drew Lock. A lot of people want them to go in the quarterback route in this draft. I don't think it's the answer. You've got to be able to protect your quarterback. It's been a major point of emphasis for Denver. Garrett Bowles is a bust, and that offensive line is just struggling right now. And I think Andrew Thomas can be the piece of the future over there in Denver. So I think the Denver Broncos are going to try to protect Drew Lock, the quarterback that they think is the quarterback of the future, and take offensive tackle Andrew Thomas. With the 7th pick, I do believe that the Atlanta Falcons are going to go with Derek Brown, very good defensive tackle out of Auburn, really good run stopper, and he can be used as a pass rusher. The Atlanta defensive line is underratedly good. They have guys in place like Tack McKinley, and I think Derek Brown is just going to be that final piece that is going to solidify this Falcons defensive line and take them to the next level. So yes, with the 7th overall pick, Falcons select Derek Brown. With the 8th overall pick, I have the Cardinals getting an edge rusher. Their defense is very full of veterans, whether it's Terrell Suggs, guys like Jordan Hicks, just not the youngest guys. So I think the edge rusher, AJ Epineza from Iowa, is going to be the problem solver. He had, I think it was 12-plus sacks last year without even starting on Iowa. And that just shows the talent. He has great technique, very good pass rusher. Not as good as Chase Young, but if Chase Young's off the board, he's the next best thing. So I do think that the Cardinals will start to build this defense under Cliff Kingsbury and get AJ Epineza. With the 9th overall pick, I have the Giants getting probably my favorite player in this draft class. Not the best, but very, very good and very skillful. And the Giants need a linebacker desperately, and Isaiah Simmons is going to be that guy. He plays some strong safety over at Clemson, but he also plays linebacker. Very versatile, very talented, insanely fast, and insanely strong. He flies around the field. He's so much fun to watch. If you guys have a chance, just search up Isaiah Simmons highlights, and it will be so much fun to watch. He's awesome to watch on the field. So I do think the Giants are going to get that middle linebacker that they passed up on with Devin White and drafted Daniel Jones last year. I think they're going to get the new leader of this defense with Isaiah Simmons. With the 10th overall pick, I had the Browns selecting Tristan Wirfs. Now, the Browns have a lot of pieces in place. They're not playing up to their potential. Baker's having a sophomore slump, yes. All of those things I'm aware of. However, the talent on their team cannot be denied, whether it's Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, Antonio Callaway, Nick Chubb on offense, or it's Myles Garrett, Sheldon Richardson, Olivier Vernon on defense. The only thing that they forgot to beef up on this offseason was their offensive line. They traded away Zeitler to the Giants, who is probably the best guy on that offensive line. And I think Wirfs is going to be that guy to take this Cleveland Browns team to the next level. Very talented offensive tackle, and I think he's going to be able to solidify that Cleveland offensive line and help protect Baker, give him a little more time in the pocket, and I think maybe he'll be the reason why the Browns take themselves to being a playoff team in 2020. With the 11th overall pick, the Titans are also moving on from quarterback Marcus Mariota. Just last week, he was benched against the Denver Broncos. Ryan Tannehill came in, so I think they're going to take the quarterback of the future there in Tennessee and go with Jake Fromm, quarterback out of Georgia. Very good player, NFL ready. He's very smart with the ball. He doesn't necessarily have the cannon of the arm. He doesn't have the absurd scrambling skills, but he's very smart. His accuracy is there, and I think that's what's going to make him such an appealing quarterback for NFL teams, and that's why the Titans taking him so high at 11. With the 12th overall pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, I have the Los Angeles Chargers selecting Tyler Biadasz, I want to pronounce it, the center out of Wisconsin, a very talented player, very good. I think that the Chargers really need to focus on protecting Phillip Rivers. The secondary is decent enough. It can progress throughout the season and be good next year. The center of the defense, middle linebackers, and defensive line is very good. And the offense is obviously good. You have guys like Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler, and of course Phillip Rivers. All you need to do now is just protect him. I think Biadasz is very good, and he's going to be that guy to do so over there in Los Angeles. With the 13th overall pick, the Buccaneers are going to finally get their running back of the future, running back Jonathan Taylor out of Wisconsin. Very good. I think he's averaged 8 yards per carry throughout his entire college career, not just 1 year, the entire 3 years that he's played ball at Wisconsin. And he's just so elusive, very fast, and just one of the best ball carriers that has, or sorry, he has the best vision out of any of the ball carriers in this draft. Very smart with the holes that he hits, and he hits them hard. I think that the Buccaneers will finally get the running back they've been looking for forever in Jonathan Taylor, and he'll bring this Bucs offense to a whole new level. With the 14th overall pick, I have the Raiders selecting Bryce Hall, cornerback from Virginia. This is the Raiders' first pick out of 2 in the first round of the 2020 draft. Obviously, getting that first round from the Bears in that Khalil Mack trade that they made last year. But I do think Bryce Hall is probably the most talented cornerback in this class. Very good ball skills, and I think he's going to take John Gruden's secondary to the next level. You have the pieces of Carl Joseph and guys who they just drafted like Jonathan Abrams. And I think that Bryce Hall is just going to bring this young secondary to a whole new level and be able to solidify that Raiders secondary. With the 15th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, I have the Eagles going in the direction of Terrell Lewis, edge rusher out of Alabama. This guy's pretty low on a lot of people's draft boards, and I can never understand why. He's probably the fastest edge rusher, and maybe the most explosive, maybe even the best when it comes to tape. I think Chase Young is undoubtedly the best technique-wise, but just when he's actually playing in the game, Terrell Lewis is so good and so fun to watch, and I think he's so talented, and he'll be able to take this Eagles edge rush to something that hasn't been in a while. They desperately need guys getting to the quarterback, and I think he'll be able to do that over there in Philadelphia. With the 16th pick, I have the Lions getting someone to match up with Darius Slay. They've needed it for a while. Their secondary isn't necessarily great, and I think Jeffrey Okudah from Ohio State is going to be the guy there that is going to be able to play that boundary with Darius Slay and really scare quarterbacks who have to go up against Detroit. I think Detroit is one good free agency and draft class away from being a playoff team, maybe even one good quarterback if Stafford starts to regress, although he's playing some of the best football we've seen him play his entire career this year, so you never know. So I think Jeffrey Okudah is the best selection for the Lions. With the 17th overall pick, I have the Dallas Cowboys getting another very good defensive tackle, Raekwon Davis, really good run stopper, and I think he'll solidify that Dallas defensive line. Obviously, their linebacker core is insane with Leighton Vander Esch and Jalen Smith, and I think Raekwon's just going to make this defense very scary. With the 18th pick, I think the Vikings are really desperately hoping to get Grant Delpit, but they were going to pick way too late for that. So they're going to get the next best option at safety, and that's Xavier McKinney from Alabama. Very talented player, and I think he'll fit in perfectly in Minnesota. With the 19th overall pick, the Bills are going to get a very good wide receiver out of Colorado, Laviska Shenault. Amazing player, very good. He's what a lot of people call a hybrid. He's very fast. Almost like Tyreek Hill speed. I'm not going to say that because he's not that fast, but he is very fast. And then he has the possession catches and the jumping ability of guys like Megatron. So he's very talented, and I'm very excited to see what he does in the NFL. He's playing very well at Colorado right now, and I think the Bills need a number one wide receiver to help Josh Allen out, man. Obviously, Zay Jones is like okay. Cole Beasley is like 45. John Brown is also like 45, so they need a young wide receiver who can take this offense to the next level, and I think Laviska is that guy. With the 20th pick, I think the Rams are going to select a guy that's going to just help protect Jared Goff, help open up holes for Todd Gurley next year, and Creed Humphrey's that guy, great guard out of Oklahoma, and I think he'll fit in perfectly in Los Angeles. And then the Raiders, with their second pick, they tried getting Antonio Brown. That clearly did not work. Tyrell Williams has been playing decent, but I think CeeDee Lamb is their guy in this draft to finish off the first round. Very, very good wide receiver. So much fun to watch. If you guys watch that Texas game, you know what I'm talking about. A great route runner, great hands, and I think he'll elevate Derek Carr's game in 2020. With the 22nd pick, I think the Colts are going to get an edge rusher, Yetur Gross-Mangos, out of Penn State. Very good player. He uses the bull rush technique, which is fun to watch. If you guys watch tape on him, you'll know what I mean. He's just the guy that doesn't have the measurables. He's kind of on the heavier side of edge rushers, but when it comes down to it on the field, he's so good, and he'll fit in perfectly in Indianapolis. With the 23rd overall pick, the Texans are going to make their offense literally absurd. Obviously, they have guys like DeAndre Hopkins, Deshaun Watson, Will Fuller, and the only thing they're missing is an elite running back. And Travis Etienne is that guy. Great running back out of Clemson, very talented. And I think if he's available with the 23rd overall pick, there's no way the Texans will pass up on him. And I think that he's just going to make this offense very scary over there in Houston. With the 24th overall pick, we have the Miami Dolphins getting K'Lavon Chaisson, the edge rusher out of LSU. Very underrated in my mind. Again, like Terrell Lewis, kind of low on people's draft boards, but that doesn't bother me. That's not going to change my mind and make me go a different direction here. I think the Dolphins need an edge rusher, and I think if all these other guys that I've mentioned, like Terrell Lewis, Chase Young, AJ Epineza, Yetur Gross-Mangos, are all off the board, K'Lavon Chaisson is the next best thing, and the Dolphins need pressure on the quarterback, and I think he's going to be the guy to do so. With the 25th overall pick, I think the Panthers are going to get a guy that's going to really finally give their secondary some hope, and I think Christian Fulton, the cornerback out of LSU, is that guy. Very talented, great ball skills, and I think he is going to elevate this Panthers defense. With the 26th overall pick, the Ravens are going to draft a guy that hasn't even played a game this year. I was so bummed to find out that he tore his ACL at the start of the year. He was top 10 in a lot of people's minds, including mine, maybe even top 5. But the middle linebacker prospect, Dylan Moses out of Alabama, I think he's going to be perfect for Baltimore. They have a guy like Kenny Young who's leading that defense right now. I don't think he's the answer. I do think Dylan Moses is. He's very fast, very explosive. So if Dylan doesn't stay for his senior year, I think it's a clear choice for the Ravens to draft him. With the 27th overall pick, and I really like this one, I have the Saints selecting Henry Ruggs, the third wide receiver out of Alabama. Probably the fastest guy we've seen in a very long time. He might get 4.2 speed. I mean, he is insanely fast. The entire Alabama offense throughout the first 5 or 6 games has consisted of him running slants and taking them to the house. He is just so explosive, very good slot receiver, and I think he's just the guy that Drew Brees needs and will elevate this Saints wide receiver core, who already has a guy like Michael Thomas. So it's going to be fun to watch those two pair up. And then with the 28th overall pick, I have the 49ers selecting a guy that's going to go alongside Richard Sherman, be a boundary cornerback for them, and that's Paulson Adebo out of Stanford, very good cornerback as well. And I think he's very talented, and it definitely is a first-round talent. A lot of people have him second or third round. I do think he's first round, and he'll sneak in here with the 28th overall pick. So, yes, the 49ers are going to draft him. Then with the 29th overall pick, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to select DeAndre Swift, get a running back to fit perfectly in this offense. I think he'll be amazing for Patrick Mahomes, kind of take some weight off his shoulders, finally let the Chiefs make that Super Bowl run. People are starting to figure out that Patrick Mahomes is going to throw the ball most plays and how to defend him, even though he's very hard to defend. I think people are starting to catch on to that. So I think DeAndre Swift is going to add that running game that Kansas City is missing right now and really make this Chiefs team a Super Bowl threat year in and year out. With the 30th overall pick, I have the Green Bay Packers getting their tight end of the future, Grant Calcaterra, out of Oklahoma. Very talented tight end, very fun to watch, and I think he'll be that guy in Green Bay. With the 31st overall pick, I have the Seahawks going with Jeffrey Okwara, the edge rusher out of Notre Dame. Very good, not as good as the other guys that have been picked so far, but I think the Seahawks will probably end up trading down this pick like they always do, but we're not going to do any trades. So I think if they don't trade down, they're going to get Jeffrey Okwara to make their edge rush a little better after trading away Frank Clark. And then finally, the Patriots are going to get their quarterback of the future. And listen, I know they drafted Jason Stidham, but if Joe Burrow is still on the board in the first round, Patriots don't have many holes. Tom Brady is aging, and I think it's going to be hard for Billy Belichick to pass up on a guy like Joe Burrow, who has played lights out this season, made a case for the Heisman. So I really think that it's going to be go down like this if Burrow's available, and Belichick won't pass up on him. And I think Burrow will be very good in New England for years to come. So sorry, all you New England haters, the reign is not over, and they will continue to win with Joe Burrow. So yes, guys, that's going to do it for my 2020 NFL mock draft. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. And if you want to see more content, please subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.